you caught me. Oh, I can't believe she caught me. She called me. Hey guys, this is Tim Turney, aka Pastor Tim. Did I say aka Pastor Tim? No, it's aka PT. I'd like to say, hey, can we do this again? Cut to. All right. This is New Day Revival Podcast. I'm Pastor Tim. You can call me PT. And tonight we're going to talk about a very special thing coming up. You know what this month means, right? This month means the starting of happiness at my house. You know why? Because the temperatures are cooler. And well, it's happy for my wife. It's not happy for me because that fan is still going. No, she's not here. I can talk about that. But it's a beautiful time, and everybody loves this time of year. And also, October is a time for at the end, which is my wife's birthday. Happy birthday to you previously. And what am I saying here? Yeah, this, huh? I'm getting an echo. I'm getting an echo. So, Jacob, could you come over here and just reach over here on channel 1 and just turn this down right here? And I will, let's do this right here. Since we've been having technical difficulties. So I know we were about 2 or 3 minutes late. And so I was just trying to get some things together, and now I can't figure it's not right there. So I'm going to let Miss Jamie, we're going to introduce today. We're going to talk about a very special testimony while I go take care of this issue that's always needing a tissue around here. But thank you for watching our podcast today. And this is going to be coming up this season is Halloween season. And regardless of what side you fall on, we're not going to get into the dynamics of doctrinal thesis and teachings on where it come from. Everybody should understand and know that process. But I want to talk about how that God used. I listened to a testimony just a couple of days ago, and it was just it really thrilled me to no end. I was very happy with it. I laughed. I cried. I was just hands were in the air, and then I wanted to go back in time, and I wanted to crash into that car, and he just really involved me into your testimony. And so I asked him to come here today so we could talk about this. And so I want to introduce tonight, everybody give a drum roll, please. Ladies and gentlemen, dogs and cats, bow-legged skeeters, and cross-eyed gnats. Welcome, Jamie Looney and Monica Smith. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Tim, for having us.
So what I'd like to do while I kind of slip off to the side here and take about 15 seconds, just take this microphone, look at that camera, and both of you introduce yourself to the audience, okay?
Okay. Hello. My name is Jamie Looney, and I'm from Good Hope, Alabama. And I am going to be giving my testimony tonight, plus sharing a little bit about how I got saved and how I am where I am.
Hi, I'm Monica Smith, and I'm thankful to be here. And I'm excited about sharing about what all God has done in my life over the past 30 years. This at the end of this month, since I came to Christ, and I'm excited about sharing part of that story with you guys.
Yes, I hope we don't go too long tonight, but we do have a huge story. But we are going to shorten it down for you.
Yes, and that's fine. So when I was sitting there and y'all started, I know you went extensively. You were talking about a lot of the miracles that God performed in your life, and I was gone from Coleman for a while.
Yes.
And it was kind of like, we would see each other a little bit at Smith Lake Park when we grew up, and you and
reunions, maybe.
Yeah, some reunions.
Yes.
Cousins. Yeah. And cousins, but we really, cousins. But we didn't realize until I moved back to Alabama and got reacquainted, just kind of what you went through in your life, but how much we're twins. We finish each other's sentences, and I think it's I don't know, who knows what would happen if the world if we just got turned loose on the world.
Oh, there is no telling with you.
I got a bunch of voices in my head. She's got a bunch of voices in her head, and we both harmonize with each other.
Yes.
So, but the testimony, I want you to tell us a little bit about when you get started, about your first, your surgery. You've had a lot of heart issues. You've had a lot of different heart surgery. How many heart surgeries have you had?
Well, I've had 5 open heart where they cut you and take your heart out and put it on the table. But then I've had a couple of other patches where they just go in you and do it just like through your veins and stuff. So lots and lots. Most of the time you don't make it
Yeah.
with that many surgeries cut down the middle. So
That's right.
it's been
That's
rough. But I'm going to start out with, when I was 12, early 12, I had rheumatic fever. And that rheumatic fever is what caused all these holes to go in my valves. And that was the whole problem. The valves started leaking. And when they started leaking, it causes you to be short of breath. And pretty soon you can't walk, or, everything kind of just goes south of the border from there. So you have to have something done. And back in 1976, it wasn't very popular. People didn't just go to the UAB and have heart surgery back then. It was a big deal because most people didn't make it. When Dr. Kirkland did my surgery, I was 12, and there was several people before me that had died and several people after me that Dr. Kirkland had did the surgery. So the day that he did my surgery, it was a big deal because he was excited that somebody lived. And they threw me a party. Like, it was a big deal that I made it through that, because it was very unusual for somebody to go through it. So and I stayed in the hospital for 6 months, and that was a long time for a little kid to be in the hospital.
How old was you again?
12.
12.
It was 1976. So a lot of things.
In
have
76,
changed.
just a simple little bit heart procedure that we have now, it's in and out patient, was a major thing back then.
It was a major thing. And like I said, there was a lot of little kids that died before me. A lot of adults died before me, before he even got one to live.
She always tells a story that really puts it in perspective for me, that there were dozens of doctors crowded around a black and white television screen watching her heart as they were getting ready to do this surgery, because there had not been that many survived, and they were all learning from her case, because she was young. So they thought that she would, they were hopeful that she would survive, but it was a big deal because there were dozens of doctors in the room watching her surgery, because they hadn't done that many in Birmingham. And it was the original Dr. Kirkland that built the Kirkland Clinic that did it.
Yes.
They're okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had, as I was listening to your testimony the other day, you talked about that, and then everything was going. You got out of the hospital and you went skating.
I did.
You were not supposed to go, right? Or
it took a little bit to heal before I went skating, but I guess about maybe 6 months after I got out of the hospital, that was my first outing. Mama finally let me go somewhere, and so they took us skating, and they were going somewhere else to play music that night. So they dropped us, me and my sister and my cousin, off at the doorsteps, and they said, "All right, just stay there until it opens up in 5 minutes. Y'all stay put." There was a bunch of other kids out there as well. Well, there's a store across the road, Tim. And I said, "I'm thirsty."
And you were 12.
I was 13.
Oh, 13.
By then, I said,
13, you're invincible.
I said, yeah. I said, let's go over there and get us a Coke and some Snickers. Okay. So we did. We walked across that road and we got it. And then when we come out, Connie, instead of just walking, she just goes darting across the road, runs. Well, of course, I'm just right after her. And I got hit by a car. And when I did, it threw me in the air. I rode down, hit the hood, rode onto the pavement. And the guy says he was drunk. He was a teenager. He got out of the car and said, "Get out of the road before you get hit again," because it was around that curve. It was very, very busy traffic. And I thought, what? Get out of the road? Well, I can't even move. How am I going to get out of this road? And so then I just I guess I passed out, because it just everything blacked out. The next thing I know, I woke up and I was about a block from them in the ditch on this side of the road, same side as Gay Skating Ring was on. I was in that ditch laying there, and I woke up and 3 nuns was gathered around me praying for me. And I looked up at them and I thought, well, you've done it now, Jamie. You'll be going to heaven.
You wake up and you see 3 nuns, you go, I thought you would be Peter and you would be John.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I got this thing all wrong. There's
That's
nuns
right.
taking me to heaven.
So you
So-
know what? I really didn't think about it then because I hadn't surrendered my heart to God or nothing like that. So I didn't realize that them was angels back then. I figure I was busted up a lot worse than I was. So Connie comes running up there and she says, Jamie, are you all right? And I looked up at her and then I looked over and the nuns wasn't there. And I said, yes, but where is them nuns? And she said, what nuns? And I said, the nuns that was standing here praying over me. And she said, they ain't no nuns. And it was about dusk dark then, I guess. And so the ambulance comes and they check my shoulder.
Not that it really matters, but do you remember what model of car you got hit by?
No, but it was a sports car because it was a rich dude's
Well,
car. So,
and it's better, I guess, when they said it's
Young
better to cry in a
teenager
Mercedes
with a
than a
lot of money.
Pinto. So I don't know about. So never mind.
anyway,
It was a rabbit. Sorry, y'all.
So the ambulance came and he says, you want, go to the hospital, whatever. I said, no, I can't, don't want to. And anyway, so we didn't go to the ambulance. So we went back to the skating rink, after it was all said and done. I get in the skating rink and this shoulder of mine started hurting me and pain.
So
come
that was the
back.
side that you got hit on? Was
Yes,
your left
I
side?
guess I rode
On your
the
right
car
side?
I got rode on the car that way, I guess. But so I was hurting so bad. I said, oh my gosh, call somebody. And I said, don't call mama. You call my aunt.
Don't
You
call
my
mama.
aunt.
I've totaled her car. Whatever you do,
So,
don't call
yes.
mama.
So my aunt comes and gets me and she takes me to the hospital and I'm in the hospital when I pulled off my jacket, my shoulder was not attached.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Say
just-
that again.
When I pulled my jacket off, the shoulder wasn't attached. It was just some skin holding the shoulder.
So you just had the
together.
dangly.
See,
That-
when I went to skating rink, I just picked my arm up and was toting it. I didn't know that it wasn't connected. I was a kid. And so,
What are you thinking? You're a kind of a Mrs. Potato Head or something?
I mean,
She just didn't want mama to find out.
I did not want my mama to know that we disobeyed. And what's cost that?
She was there.
no.
Everything okay, Jamie? Yes, Mother,
I would
yes.
rather be in pain.
I mean, how do you hide that? I mean, geez.
Well, I didn't know how I was gonna hide it, but so when I got to that emergency room, they pulled off my jacket, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So then
What'd you tell them? How'd you tell
My-
them you broke your arm?
I said I went skating.
You fell
I
skating.
fell skating. They went, "Wow,
You lied to your
you
mama.
did all that."
You lied to your
Well,
And Ellen,
I
I'm so
actually lied
sorry
to the
that you had
doctors
all
first.
these years. These kids just gave you torment.
Yes, she had it rough, bless her. So I had told that to everybody, and then when my mom got there, she said, "How did you do that?" And I said, "Mother, I fell skating." And then she's sitting there, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!" And then the ambulance driver that had came out there to try to talk me into going, he came by and he said, "Aren't you that little girl that got hit by the car that I tried to bring up here a while ago?" And my mom went, "What? What?" And she's just flipping out. And then
And you couldn't go like this. Stop.
I'm going,
Because you didn't have an arm.
I did go. I did one last lie. I went, no. He said, "Yes, I believe you are."
No, Mom, I tripped over the skates over here.
Yeah, my mom kind of had a fit. So,
Oh, Lord.
it was not good for me or her. But so anyway, I had gotten my shoulder. I had been traction like for 6 weeks, 12 weeks, and then a body cast for a long time. It was a long time. So anyway, it was rough. I suffered the consequences
That's
for what I
right.
had did. I certainly did. And then move on.
There's a lot
soon
more.
as-
And
As soon
you know,
as that healed up, it was straight back to the hospital, have another open heart surgery.
At 15.
Yeah.
15. I barely even got the cast off.
jeez.
I had to go back to the hospital.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
But I'm with all that you went through. It's a good testimony for the resilience that God put in you, because there's a lot of people that would have give up real quick.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm laying in a ditch, I see 3 nuns. I'm, of course, I'm thinking of the flying nun with Sally Fields. But
that's probably what I'm thinking.
you know,
too.
if I look down and I see my arm like that, I don't know that I guess it's in the moment.
Well, I
At that
did
moment,
just-
you just don't know what you're going to be able to go through until
but
you
I
go through
did
it.
just go through open heart surgery, so I was a toughie.
So you're a toughie.
I was a toughie.
Well, I mean, you
That
got
arm didn't-
you got
that
tough
arm was
blood in
nothing.
you. That's why.
that arm was really nothing compared to the open heart. I mean,
Yeah,
it was rough.
yeah. That's
It was rough, but it was nothing like open heart. I
But
mean,
the most important part is you're right here, and
yes.
you're right here with me
You know,
and Monica, and we're on the camera and we're talking to people, and you
That's
wouldn't be
it.
here. So there's a lot to thank the Lord for.
but you know, Tim, I think back and I think about all the things that God had to put in action for that to actually take place. There was a little boy. I was given a little boy's valves, and I never want to forget that because these people donated his valves, and I was given his valves. That's what saved my life the first time. That in Jesus Christ. But and then so I growed so fast out of them, and then they put pig and steel valve in me. So
They put a what?
a pig and steel valve.
A pig and steel? You said steel as in
Steel.
metal?
Mhm.
A pig and
That's
steel.
what they
I mean,
put in
pig
the
and steel.
second, yeah.
What is a pig and that sounds like a some smokehouse restaurant in the backwoods of Alabama somewhere. Have you went and ate at the pig and steel? I'm telling you what, it's good stuff. But
Hey, we could open that restaurant. Well,
the pig valve. So that's
it is amazing that they can.
now is it still
stuff
is
like
it
that.
still in you?
No, now I have a tissue valve. I actually had a cow valve after the pig and steel valve. They put a cow. I know they just use all these body parts on me.
My
the
cousin
world?
Jamie had a farm. Yo, right?
Hey, I wasn't McDonald's, so I heard that all my life, and you have too. So we both have heard that all our life, haven't we?
Yeah. All right. So you had you had a little boy. Thank you. Thank you for
Yes,
the little
thank
boy.
you, Lord.
You had a pig, you had a cow, and you had a steel beam. And now you've got a what?
I have a tissue valve
You have
now.
a tissue valve. Is it closer to toilet paper tissue or
Sure hope
or
not,
napkin
because I need
tissue?
it to last. I really don't know about this one.
Well, that's a good question.
It is.
Is that tissue made out of a lamb or is it made out of horse?
No, it's this tissue valve is made in a science lab where they took stuff. I don't know, cut some other stuff and put it together.
Oh, so,
I really don't know, but I know, it's not going to last as long. 8 years is what they say.
you know what I'm hearing in my head right now. I wished I had it on the banner. I hear dun 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 dun. She's the new Lindsay Wagner. We can rebuild her. We have the animal parts.
Well, now they did call me the bonnet woman for a long time.
I'm
They
sorry,
surely did.
but you know what? You're here, and I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
Okay, so Monica, how many animal parts have you been put together with? So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've not had any major surgeries or anything like Jamie, but I'm Jamie's niece. And when Jamie had her second open heart surgery, she was 15 years old, and she had on the day after her second open heart surgery, I was born. And she found out during that time that she wasn't going to be able to have children because of all of her heart problems. They had to tie her tubes at such a young age. And she has always been such a wonderful person with children. And so she got better. She said she always used to tell me the story that she was sick and in the hospital, but that she couldn't wait to get home to come and play with me. And as a child growing up, Jamie was such an important and influential person in my life. And she was just this cool aunt that would carry you anywhere and do all these fun things. Even though she had all that, you wouldn't know it because she was still wild and crazy and did, all the fun things with me. And so we always had such a special bond. But when I was 15, my parents had gotten a divorce the year before, and my mom was kind of struggling with some addictions and things. And so things were hard at home, and I was spending more and more time over there. Well, Jamie, being the cool aunt that she was, on Halloween, it was coming up, and it was in 1994. It's been almost 30 years ago this Halloween. She told me she'd carry me anywhere I wanted to go. And so I heard some kids talking at school. I had a couple of Christian friends that had went to this thing, and they talked about how scary it was. And in fact, a couple of the boys even said, "Well, it'll scare the dickens out of you, And
The HE double hockey sticks for
Yes.
those of you in Rio Linda.
that's what they pretty much they said. And so, anyways, they said that, and I thought they were talking about a spook house because we had went to spook houses before. She had carried me before.
Halloween season, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was on Halloween night. And so I said, Jamie, I think they're having a really big one. And it was up at a Baptist church in our area. And it was a really big deal. So she said, sure, we'll go. And we just loaded up the car and went to this church. And when we got there, I was so surprised to see that there were people. It was wrapped around the building. And we got in line, but I noticed that everybody was kind of holding tickets and I said, I don't know if we're going to be able to get in because it looks like they've already got their tickets. And so I saw on the sign, it said, The Judgment, a life-changing experience.
Mhm.
Well, when I saw that on the sign, I was like, do you think this is really a spook house? I mean, it says
were talking about
a
it.
life-changing experience. What does that mean? And we, at that time, she had went a little bit to church when she was little, which was she had experienced a lot of condemnation. And I had probably went 2 times in my life as a child to church.
So you're just practically unchurched, practically
Right.
had
Oh, we
no,
were.
really
We had no church.
Right.
religiously or biblically illiterate. You just,
Right.
just didn't have that background.
No.
Okay.
Yes. And so I didn't even own a Bible, neither did she.
So even seeing the word judgment, it's going,
Right,
what a
I had-
weird name for a.
I had no idea that we would even face a judgment. I didn't know anything about that. And she was 30 and didn't know. I was 15 and didn't know. But that's how, and we grew up in a very, highly churched area.
Yeah,
So that to
yeah.
me, that it sends a message that you may think people know, but they
don't.
They don't know.
Yeah.
They may not know anything.
And that's a good little clip note right there at the end of this. Don't assume everyone knows, especially in this culture and time. Don't assume everyone knows what you think you may know. Those who've been in church, those you've had religion, you even went to school with it, you've studied with it, because a lot of times they don't. I remember I thought everyone knew the story of Jonah. But I'm in a classroom in college, and I would say 90% of the people going, "Who's Jonah?"
Yeah.
Okay, oh, what?
Yeah, that's
But
right.
then that's where I go, oh, not everyone is going to know that. So if they don't know that and they don't know any of the word, that's why we do have a very important responsibility to let people know, just to say that. So little side note, little cliff note right there. If you're
Yes.
going through a little study, if you're wanting to cite someone, make sure to put the site. I don't want to talk about that. Go teacher.
So, anyways, I said, I'm going to go see what we have to do to get a ticket. And I went up there and I said, we're wanting to sign up to go in. And she said, you don't have tickets. These people, they pre-reserve their tickets. I don't know if that you're going to get in because we don't have any, we're not giving out any extra tickets because we've already given out our limit for the night. And I said, oh, and I said, can I ask you, what is this? We thought this was a spook house, but it says something about the judgment. Is this a spook house for next year? I was just kind of asking her in case we wanted to come back for next year. And she said, wait a minute, you've never been? And I said, no, ma'am. And she's like, you don't know what this is? And I said, no. And she goes, hold on a minute. And she went and ran back there to the back, and I didn't know what she was doing. And she's like, we are going to make an exception. And I want y'all to come back. Y'all come back. We'll go through the very last group that comes back. This was the last night of the performance. On the very last night, on the very last group to come back, and we got in. And
So let's set the scene up. So when you do come back in, you're here, and it's at a big Baptist church here in Coleman. We're not going to say what Baptist church it is, but the Sesame Street number for the day is 7. Sorry. So let's set the scene, okay? Let's set the scene up. You come back, and so when you do come back to go in, what was your thought process? What's your anticipation? What are you thinking? Because you haven't really been in there. And so they've obviously piqued or tweaked your attention to something that's this is
She
not
did
on his
say
house.
something like it was one thing about me personally was when I grew up, I was always in plays. I was in a lot of plays in high school, and I loved them. And even at this
I
time,
mean,
yeah,
geez, look at it.
Yes, right.
at
She
this
was.
time,
Hold
I
on, why
was
is she not in the?
I was in plays, and so, anyways, they said it was a drama. She said it's not a. When she said that, she said, "No, this isn't. All I can say is it's a great drama, and y'all will love it." And so that's what she said to us before we come back. And so that kind of tweaked me, anyways, because that's my thing. That was my thing in high school. Even in my senior book, they wrote that I was going to be a famous actress. Like that was one of the things that they said. So when they said that, it did make me want to come back and see what it was.
Yeah.
So. But we filled out this card. If you've ever been to a judgment, this is what you do. So we filled out a card with our information when we first got there, and it kind of asked if we went to church, and they just said they like to make the attendance of who all goes through, and we just let it go. And so when we went through the judgment, I really wasn't looking at her because it was amazing how God puts a divine appointment in your life when you show up somewhere and you feel like this was set up just for me. And that's the way I felt going through that play, because the girl in the story was 15. The main character of the play was 15, and her parents had gotten a divorce that year. And she was facing the same, she had said the same
A lot of
statements.
similarities, right?
Yes, it was like my own life was playing. And even some of the same things I had said that year, I was kind of at a turning point to where I was wanting to fit in and kind of tempted to make some not good choices. But then I had a couple of Christian friends that I didn't know that they were directing me to God, but they were like, no, we're not going to get in trouble. So there were two groups of people pulling me, just like the girl in the play. And so I cried in the very first room because I had that connection, and it was like a divine appointment. And as we went through the whole thing, it was the nights of the tornado. So it was a really, that was what the play was about, was a tornado. And there James Spann was on the television. They had him on there, Cullman County, under a tornado watch. And then the people.
He only had his suspenders. There was no shirt.
They
The
did it
jacket
right.
and the shirt was off, just suspenders. And when you see that, it's the apocalypse. It's happening.
And so every room that we went in, it was remarkable how much work they put into it. It smelled like a tornado
Yeah,
in there.
it did.
And
It was good. It was good
yes.
drama.
And every step of the way, it was just more. I had never seen anything like it. And then we went to this one room where the girl that her parents had gotten a divorce. One of them had made the wrong choice, and one of them had received Christ. One of them had rejected Christ, and there was this movie screen, and it was the judgment. It was what the play was known for.
Yeah.
And the one that didn't receive Christ, they said, "You go, you're going to eternity in the fire," And then they let the one that chose Christ go in, and then she and I were crying at this point hysterically, and because we're very dramatic, and we were holding hands, and they call out our names. They say, Jamie, Monica, are your names written in the Lamb's Book of Life? And we look at each other. I'll never forget it as long as I live. We were holding hands, and we said, no, I don't think mine's in there, Monica. Oh, gosh, what are we going to do? I had black eyeliner. I mean, my whole face was just covered, and it was the most, I know them people were like, God, these two are. And so.
Well, it was a moment. See, the thing, doing that and going there, I call it a little term. I know it's not, I didn't coin it, but I call it spiritual irony.
Yeah.
Because in the proper way would be God's providence.
Yes, providential.
because God's providence looks at things in such an intricate way in everybody's life and is able to make sure in this network, this connections, these highways, these intervals, places of crossroads, what I call Jesus junctions. He's God. And he sets up these moments so that he may set up a moment a year or two
I know.
from now for me to do to reach what I have met today. He has his providence was thinking about that, and he knew he wanted you in his kingdom because he needed you. He needed to have you in there because he loves us, and his heart was, how can I get them? This is how I'll do it.
Yes.
And I let this thing play out like
I
that.
think so, because we were both real drama. She was into drama.
And I was just going to say that I told you that my parents had gotten a divorce
Right.
when they started when my dad actually left. It was around Halloween the year before. It was Halloween week, the week of Halloween the year before.
So you're saying when your dad left, it was during that same season?
The year before. So it was like I had a broken heart, and God had seen it and mended it that night and showed me that he's the real father. I mean, he's a father that is with us for eternity, and he's the ultimate father. And so that to me was God's provision too. That was made it even more of a connection of a divine appointment for me. And so we went into the hell room, and we had never seen anything like it, burning up hot. There were demons, and it was making all these horrible sounds. And Jamie here had her 3 open heart surgeries, and she can talk. She's a great salesperson, and she can talk anybody into anything. Well, she went up to the demons and told them that they need to let us out of there because she'd had 3 open heart surgeries, and she can't be in here. And so she got us out of hell that night.
So you used your heart condition to get us out of hell.
That's right.
So when you were standing here, you coming to the judgment. If I'm right, I'm trying to remember the last time that we were connected, Lori, that we had a connection in where we went to, and it has you had someone who represents God the Father who's sitting on the throne of judgment, and you had left and right. And names that were called and people that were called in. So your names are called. You said no, and then they moved you into another room. Is that how it went?
When you went to the judge, after you went to the judgment, the next room you went to see where the people that didn't get to go to heaven went, and that's where we went to hell.
Oh.
Then at the end, you said, "Let's."
Now they called your name prior to going into the hell room.
Yes,
and then, you called my name, and this is where you send me. Somebody will get whooped tonight. Hey.
Well, we was like, we can't go there.
Monica, is your name written? That's what he said. Jamie, Monica, is your name written
in the Lamb's Book of Life?
Is your name written?
Is your name written? And
they
we
were
knew it
asking
wasn't in there because we weren't where we were supposed to be. At least we had enough sense to know that.
Yeah.
And that is a good question for anyone who's watching. Is your name written? And it's very important.
It sure is.
It is. It's extremely important.
And I think because we were still young and I was naive. So we did know though that our name, obviously we knew we weren't saved and we knew our name wasn't in there.
Well, they had already told us the steps to be saved.
Yeah.
The girl had went through the steps. The one that received Christ had already asked Jesus in her heart, and I knew I had never said that prayer myself because I didn't know.
Well, no one ever said it to us,
and I mean, so when they said all you have to do is ask and receive, and then I knew I hadn't asked, and so I sat and received, and so when we went, we knew that it wasn't us, and so that was a powerful thing. And even when they let us out, we got some time alone before the other people come out of hell because she let us out early. And we stood in the hall, and I remember her looking at me and, we can't do this. We've got to get right. We've got to make our lives right.
I was thinking to myself, Tim, if I can't even last 5 seconds in there, how am I going to survive hell?
And they said
The
it
real
was
thing.
so
Yeah, the
much
real thing.
hotter,
So I was
10,000
like,
times hotter than that.
I got to
And
fix
so-
this. Whatever it takes, I got to do it. So that, and we were sold out right there. We were sold out. So then we started going to church there. We went there, I don't know how many, not even a year, maybe. I know I got baptized there.
No, it was
Mhm.
about 2 years because
Was
we
it?
went my 10th grade year. Well, it was October of the 10th grade year, and we left Easter of my senior year, so a year and a half, maybe
Yeah.
2.
So do you want me to go into the next open heart surgery?
Well, let's take care. I want to just for a moment to work off of this line here. The fact that that God's providential hand moved you into a place that He could speak to you. God doesn't have it just locked into one specific. I've even heard people have a testimony that God spoke to me through the trees. I mean, it's not like the Hobbit, like Treebeard. I'll always like walking south. It's like walking downhill. That's from Treebeard from Lord of the Rings. Sorry about that. But it's not the tree, but it was the way the wind was blowing. It caught the attention, and it was just like you could understand that voice.
Mm-hmm.
God has multiple ways of getting to us. The most important thing is that we listen. Everyone that's out there that could be watching this and hearing this, this will be on our podcast that we'll have for the audio version will be on iHeartRadio. You can find it in Spotify and Podbean, so you can listen to it. But every one of us are going to have the moment where we come to accountability, and that moment is it's different for all of us. Mine was, I was forced to, well, I wasn't forced. I was told that I couldn't date my wife unless I went to church. And so no matter how hungover I was, or no matter how bad I felt or what was going on, I better be at church on Sunday morning. But that requiring me to be there to sit next to her, the word of God was able to go in, and it started hammering away into this life that was buffering him. And so he chose a specific way, because I was churched. I mean, Glory Hill Church of God. I grew up as a kid. I've watched Stanley Owensby, who's local here, preach his first message. That's how my upbringing was. So God used another way of getting my attention to speak to me, to bring me into his kingdom. And the factor of it happening this way, and hearing the correlation between your life and the life of that girl that was established in there, and how God just worked that moment. And I was sitting here as you were talking, and I thought, let's create, just for a temporary moment, and then we'll burn it like ash and throw it out and sweep it out the door. What if you would have just went to a haunted house and never went to that judgment house? Do you think, or what would your lives be like now?
Totally different. See, I grew up, because of that one decision, I was 15 years old. Well, that's right before I started my adult life. And by the time I was 18, I was filled with the Spirit. I knew to wait on a Christian spouse. I married someone in the church. I prayed for my spouse. He came in. He was a believer. We started our lives off as believers. We've raised our son up in church. God has blessed me in ways that I can't even imagine. And my whole family was in a cycle, and it was not a good cycle.
Not a good cycle.
And so there's all these generational curses that have been broken off of me, all because of one night. But God hemmed me in.
Yeah.
What the devil meant for evil, God meant for good for me. And he changed my life forever. And I'm believing that it's going to change the generations.
And the crowd goes wild.
Well,
where's the sound effect?
The saints goes wild, that's for sure. The saints go wild, and the angels are wild, and God's up there celebrating.
It is, and they rejoice.
They know that this is one person the devil didn't talk into hell.
That's good. I wanted to bring that in because it is vitally important to don't look for God in a specific way and
He
thinking
meets you right where
yeah.
you are.
it's not that somebody said, well, I think I'll go to a judgment house over there. Well, I mean, it's a good thing to go, but God may use a different way. But you're right. What Satan intended for evil, what he was wanting to lead your heart into somewhere to bring you into a place of fear.
Right. And I was already having a lot of fear and
Yeah.
insecurity.
And it was just kind of, it was going to build on to that more and more and more and more. God said, well, the Bible says that God did not give us a spirit of fear, but one of love. I've said it many times. I will say it many times. And this past weekend, I said it and was on stage that we were designed by God and built on love. Our DNA, our structure, everything about us from our head to our toes, from I'm start singing at home, head and shoulder, knees and toes, knees and toes, knees and toes. From every part of us, both physically, mentally, and spiritually, is designed on love because God made us in his image and God is love. Everything else that we have in our life that's opposite of that, hate, murmur, resentment, jealousy, anxiety, we learned in this life. And God is all about love, and God is all about driving our life if we'll just listen and submit. And it's just wunderbar that that the Lord used what you thought was a haunted house to bring you to know
But
him.
Tim, ain't it great how the Lord knows what it's going to take to get us there?
Yes.
Because she was into drama. I was into drama. I had actually written plays and stuff at the church we was at. And so I knew I had drama in me too. So it's just like drama. So we were into drama. So God knew that. And he led us there to save us.
Yeah.
But
And I think it's really cool because not only, I know October, they associate it with Halloween, but my pastor always talks about how the fall of the year is a harvest of souls and how it is the biggest attendance other than Easter in the church, that they look for that because people, for some reason, come to God. And I believe the harvest season, that's what it's supposed to be about. It is a time when people turn to God. And so
Yes.
God used that.
I know we don't
moment
know
for
the
us.
time or the day when he will come, but we guess around the season when he will in harvest time. It's just harvest time. So I'm really hoping that this testimony and I thank the Lord for your life. I thank the Lord for you.
thank you.
You're
I thank
precious
the
to
Lord for
me.
you.
You are you're dear to me. Getting reacquainted, and the fact that you've got me on stage doing all kind of stuff, and she's the one that's letting my voices in my head out, but in giving them characters now, and they get costumes. So I guess it's just in or done it, isn't it? You
Yes.
love doing it. I love doing it. I wish there was some way that I could make money doing that, and I wouldn't have to work or do anything else for it. I mean, that's just up my alley. Matter of fact, do y'all want to go put a costume on right now?
Well, what you got?
Well, let's see. I got no, I ain't got anything
let's
in there
not.
yet.
So drama is the devil can use it to his good, or God can use his. But I do believe that vision is important because you can hear the word, but when you put the hearing with the seeing, it comes together. For me, it does. Maybe not for everybody, but it does come together for me. I guess I'm slow, but I need to visualize it, see it, and hear it at the same time. And then when I do, I'm like, oh, okay, yes, now I know.
Well, I mean, even the Bible says that where there is no vision, the people perish. But without the people, the vision will perish.
Yeah.
So we got a vision, we keep his word, and we as the British say, we truck on, love. We just truck on. We just do it. So now that you went past here, real quickly, as we get ready to close this out, and tell us a little bit about where the Lord is bringing you in your journey with your heart.
Well, I just received my 6th pacemaker, and I'm doing great again. And
what barn animal did they use this time?
No animals, just metal, just metal. So I'm doing pretty good, and fixing to go at this next drama that we're going to do. So the Lord has blessed me in a lot of ways, but I think one way He's blessed me is He's gave me the energy to do a thing called senior outreach organization that I do,
Yep.
and that's when I write plays and get people like you to act in it, and it gives people joy. People laugh about it. So
That's it.
I
want
love
people to laugh.
joy. I love
I
joy.
got in
I
trouble
love
at
laughing.
Good Hope. I went to school. I got in trouble so much, but it was never. I never did anything mean to people. I just always try to make people laugh or try to get a laugh. It's just part of it. I enjoy it process because I know that laughter is. I was just trying to be a doctor because laughter is good medicine, and it heals and
It does. They say it releases endorphins. Your brain does.
not dolphins for you and Rio Linda.
Endorphins, and it will heal your body. So laugh all you can because it will do that. And the joy comes from the Lord. Gotta remember that, the joy of the Lord. And so I like to laugh, and I like to make others laugh. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
That.
So while we wrap this up, let's tell us a little about what's coming up with the senior outreach group.
Well, we're working on a play right now. It's called The Hillbilly Christmas, and we're all excited about that. We've just started practicing on it, but it's going to be really fun. It's not really about Christmas, but it is about the hillbillies getting together and enjoying each other and their time together. And then we've got something great. You want me to tell them about next year?
Yeah. Tell them about next year.
So next year we've already planned what we're going to do, and it's going to be called the Return of the Grand Ole Opry.
A return of the Opry.
And I'm very excited about that because we have a lot of talented people that we know, and so yes, that's going to be fun too, Tim.
That's going to be.
I'm excited about
real
it.
Good fun. So, Monica, look at that camera right there and tell everybody what you got going on in your life right now.
Well, I teach. That's my life. I teach second grade at Harmony School, and I also teach at Daystar. I teach 5 and 6 year olds, and I have a son in college. He's going to be a mechanic and a husband. Oh,
Yes.
right, husband of 25 years.
Yes.
Well, that's good. You guys, I'm so glad that you came along here and to give us a little bit of a time and here at NDR here at the studios in Dodge City, Alabama. So here's the thing: if you get ready to go to a haunted house, don't go to a haunted house. Find a judgment house. Find a place. Bring someone in. Do whatever you can. But remember, God loves you, and if you don't have the salvation, you can get it today. You can receive it. It's in his will for you to be a part of him because you were a part of him at one time, and he created you and brought you to this earth. Jeremiah said, before you were born into the womb, or before you were put in the womb, I knew who you were. So God knows who you are, and he wants to do great things for you. So until next time, Jamie,
Yes.
Monica, high five. And
Thank you for
it's
having
just
us.
it's so cool
It's been a pleasure.
that I'm sitting next to someone who's had a pig and a cow inside her.
We are the McDonald's.
We are the McDonald's. There you go. Woo! Until next,
We had a farm.
we did have a farm. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make his face to shine upon you and lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. From Dodge City, Alabama, and the NDR, that is New Day Revival Studio. God bless. Hey, you remember what they did on the dating game? So goodbye.
Oh.